Okay, welcome everybody to the MSP Waves Steemit user interviews. My name is Main Event. I am your host, and today we are getting to know Bizadi. Welcome, Bizadi.
Hello, hello. Thanks for having me.
And I'm saying your name correctly, right? Bizadi.
Yeah,
Okay, and that's spelled Bisade. That's correct? Okay, and that's how you spell your username, right? Bisade.
yeah, that's exactly how you spell it.
Okay, great. And tell us about yourself. Where are you coming to us from? Where in the world?
Okay, more specifically, England. Um, yeah, that's where I live. That's where I'm living right now.
The UK. And how long have you been on Steemit so far?
So I've been on Steemit for around 2 months. Yeah, it's coming up to actually 2 months.
And what brought you into Steemit? Was it something that someone recommended to you? Did you hear about it somewhere? Or what exactly brought you to Steemit?
I was introduced to Steemit via Ethereum. So I started off in the cryptocurrency space as a crypto trader. So I was investing in Ethereum, and then I tried to look for other cryptocurrencies that I thought were had value and that I could invest in. So I chanced on Steam, and then I realized that behind the current currency there is a social media platform. Then I just got involved that way and started to make some posts.
Right, and it's like I said, these interviews, I'm hoping to see the different people's perspectives of what exactly brought them to Steemit. Um, I know myself, I heard about it through YouTube, through some YouTube personalities that were eventually moving their content over to Steemit. And so it's interesting to me to hear exactly what brings everybody to Steemit. Now you said you were interested in the cryptocurrencies. Is that something you blog about, or what are the things you typically write about on Steemit?
So I don't tend to focus on specific cryptocurrencies. On my blog, I'm more focused on answering topical issues. So issues that deal with societal issues, the issues, and I'll if I'm involved in a community, then I'll blog about it. That's what my blog is aimed at, essentially.
All right, cool. Let's see here. Now, are you involved in any types of projects with Steemit? Like, have you reached out into the different community groups at all?
Yep, definitely. Recently I got involved with the AdSactly. So it's ADSACTLY. It was my last post, and I recently became their writer. So I'll be writing on behalf of that community and just trying to make it grow and branch out into different spaces on Steam.
That's great. And was there any other groups you're getting involved with either, or was that the only one so far?
Of the Africa project as well. So it's being led by some notable figures in that community. So, for example, Dragon Slayer and even Donkey Pong is encouraging the growth of the Nigerian African community. So I'm just in that space posting some content that will bring some awareness to the African community on the Steemit network.
Oh, that's great. And you mentioned a few usernames there? Are there other Steemit users that you'd like to maybe give a shout out to, or that maybe you follow their blogs?
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to Wa Philip. He does some awesome motivational videos. You should definitely check him out. Paul Ag as well. She does some statistical data analysis centered blog posts, and they're really useful for seeing the numbers behind Steemit. Yeah,
That's cool. Awesome.
that's he as
And
well. He's a cool guy.
what was that last one?
Tremendous Percy. He writes some cool, interesting blog posts as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard that name before. I'll definitely have to check that out. Now, so you've been on Steemit, you said a couple of months, right?
Yeah, 2 months.
Okay. Now, what are some things that you really like about the platform? Like what is keeping you here?
Well, right off the bat, I would say the community feel of the space is really nice. So to get involved with the communities like Ad Factly, the Minnow Support Project. And as well, I like the entrepreneurial spirit of the space. I talked about that in my penultimate uh, post. And what I find appealing about the space is people aren't just post payouts. You have services like Rando Whale. You also have people that are willing to lease out their SP. And that's really impressive because it just shows how people want to push Steemit to the next level. So it's exciting to be a part of
I
that
agree.
innovation.
Yes, absolutely. And I hope it stays that way too. That's one thing I do worry about Steemit is that everybody, for the most part is very friendly and helpful and supportive, and I really hope that stays with the platform because as it grows, I just really hope people, keep that mentality. Let's
Yeah, me
see.
too.
So let's see. What else can we talk about here? So, what are some things that you're not so much of a fan of the platform, or some things that you kind of wish could be changed, maybe?
But I'm not a big fan of the trending and hot page. I think I see too many familiar variety, not only in the content in what's being posted, but also in the author. So who's posting it?
So
Because
you're
at the end of
saying
the day,
it's
I
a
want
lot
to
of
be exposed to.
you're saying it's a lot of repeats. Sorry, your mic was cutting out for a second, so I just wanted to cut you off for a second. So you're saying when you're looking at like the trending topics and things like that, you're seeing a lot of the same content or the same people.
Everyone sees the same content, the same people. I would just like some variety.
Right. I know I personally actually haven't really looked at a lot of the trending stuff because I try to look at more of the new content, I guess. And so a lot of times when stuff's been to the point where it's trending, it's already gone by me. But a lot of people do follow that, and I agree. It's a lot of people, of course, are against the way that a lot of those posts make it to the trending topic. Whether it's self votes or whatever that the people with the high steam power, they're always trending. Well, I don't know. Do you think that's just kind of a thing that Steemit's just going to have to get used to? Is the people with the high steam power? I mean, if they're voting their content or others are, they're going to be on the trending list, right? Is that how that works?
So sadly, that's how it's working right now. But hopefully that will change because if you want Steemit to grow, then we need to be able to get a more diverse set of people on that trending page. Because I think posts a 2 day old post are still trending. But obviously we know that people are out there making content every single hour of every single day. So there is content that could be on the front page. It just isn't there because there's such a monopoly on that trending page.
Absolutely. I know one thing I wish I could see, and we mentioned this before, as we're actually doing this for a second time due to some technical issues. But if they could kind of categorize content a little better, I know they have the categories, but if they had like say a section for the new users, a section for the whales, and then that way maybe you could have a whales trending topic section and then maybe a minnows trending topic section. Do you think something like that would be a good idea?
It would serve as a good way to just split up the content on the trending page. So the lesser known rep scores of like, I don't know, 40 to 50 could have time in the limelight. But then you would also have whales with bigger rep scores, bigger SE backing. They'll also be in the limelight as well. So I think it strikes a good balance.
Exactly. Yeah. What are some other features of Steemit that you kind of wish maybe could be improved or changed?
I would like to see a better messaging function because I know when I first got onto Steemit, I was so surprised that I couldn't message. It doesn't, the Steemit platform, especially the interface, it's not very um, appealing. It doesn't
No, I don't think so. It's very basic.
networking.
It's very
Yeah,
basic.
exactly. So maybe I know you can use Steam Chat, but a little bit. I think there's definitely room for improvement.
And we had talked before when we did this the first time that the whole minnow experience we feel like needs to be improved, right? Like when we joined Steemit, neither one of us really felt like there was a path to success. It was kind of just like the Wild West, and you just dive in. And I mean, some people might like that. Kind of fend for yourself mentality, but at the same time, it would have been kind of nice, don't you think, to have some kind of a path to even the so-called Steemit ethical rules and all this stuff about what posts should be, what kind of comments you should be leaving. I didn't really see much of that when I joined. Did you?
No, neither did I. And I think that's one of the things that Steam needs to improve because at the end of the day, the platform will only grow if minnows, new users have a good time. Like just in the first few days, they're having a good time experiencing that platform, getting to know it. So really improving the initial period experiences on the platform is so important because
Absolutely.
I know Paul, like the person I mentioned before, I was reading somewhere that the retention rate for new like accounts that are created is something like 6 to 8%, and obviously that isn't great. We want to see those numbers go higher. So I think just improving the new user experience will push that retention rate way higher.
Absolutely. Well, before we get too far into this, we're about 12 minutes into it so far. I think what I'll do is I will split it up into different parts. So this could be the end of part one, and we'll hit stop for recording just for a second. Okay, and we're back now. We're going to part two of this interview with Bisadi. And where would you like to go with next? I'll kind of pass the microphone over to you and let you kind of decide where we go with this conversation next. What would you like to talk about?
Controversial topic I see a lot on Steam is well lately is self-voting.
Oh, yes, self-voting. I like to call it the
If it
self-V.
should be done.
Now, what's your opinion on it?
Well, practically speaking, well, one can understand why people self-vote. They want to be in the best position to succeed. They want to accrue money that they've invested into the platform. So I can definitely understand why people self-vote. That there are some consequences to that, and you can see that on the trending page. It's being funneled into an entity that's already big. So maybe spreading it out a little bit might be the best thing to do.
And I mean, I
As a
know,
whole,
right? And I hear that too. I'm in the middle on the whole thing. I definitely don't think upvoting your own comments is very necessary. Typically, you're not writing a long comment. I mean, some people, of course, do. But, in general, you're just, leaving a few extra bonus points on somebody's post and stuff. So you don't really need to self vote that. But if you're creating original content and you've put in the time or the money but to get your Steam power, I mean, I guess you could just use it to help everybody else, but you should be rewarded somehow for your efforts. I mean, no other job you're going to do out there, you're going to put in all this time and effort and energy and expect to only give that to other people. You have to take care of yourself too. So there needs to be some kind of a balance, I think, don't you think?
percent right on that one because at the end of the day, it's the incentive to do things, and Steam
Right.
it just incentivizes people to self-vote.
And it's psychological kind of too when people see the vote. I think one possibility that they could come up with is you can vote your post, right, to give it the upvote, to give it that little number one and that little blue arrow, but maybe it just doesn't reward you on the same kind of a level as if you vote for someone else. I know from experience, like with Facebook and things, when I used to do promotions of posts and stuff I want people to see, it was like if I liked it first, right when I posted it, it just kind of made people want to like it because somebody else did. It's kind of like nobody wants to be the first one to like something. Like, oh, well, nobody's liked that yet. Maybe I don't want to do that. Like, if they see that number one is already there, they're gonna hit like. And I think that's just part of it. And so, like I said, in the feed, when you're first posting things, if you see a post go by and it's got no likes, no comments, I mean, you're probably not going to go look at that, right? But if you see one that's got a couple of votes right away, right when it's first voted, you say, oh, you're going to go check that out. But of course, if everybody does that, then it's going to be known too, and it's like, well, that's not special either. So I don't know. It's definitely a hot topic for sure.
Yeah, so we'll just have to wait to see what happens. Hopefully, any changes that are made are not too drastic and mess up the system too much.
Do you know? I haven't personally heard if there's any other kind of changes coming to Steemit. Like I know they just did that hard fork. What was it, 19? Right, or hard fork 19. I don't know how that all works. I'm definitely not an expert in that whatsoever. But have you heard about any other upcoming changes to the Steemit platform?
So Hard Fork 20 is the rave now, and from what I've read so far, is they're going to introduce communities. And from what I know, it's going to make it a lot easier to interact with people within the Steemit community. So it may compensate for the fact that there is no direct messaging function on the platform itself. So we just have to wait and see what happens in that regard.
Yeah, I did hear about the communities thing actually, because I'm a gamer, and so I've heard about like the gaming community they want to create and things like that. So that will be kind of neat. 'Cause, I think it would be good to try to get the people of like mind together. It is hard, when like someone maybe is into uh, political type stuff, and then someone over here is more into like photography. Well, let's try to get their friends together, and the people they post with so that they can interact easier. Right now, it's not that easy. You really only have the category, you click on it, there's all the posts, but that's it. You don't really have any kind of tools to work with. So, that I've found anyway. There may be some out there. I certainly, just a disclaimer, I am not a Steemit expert whatsoever at all. I've been on the platform less than 90 days, so I am not an expert in any of this, and I'm hoping to learn just like the rest of you. So take everything I say with a grain of salt, for sure. Let's see. And you had mentioned, kind of like voting power too. Like, it's interesting how the Steam power works. So it's like I personally have not invested any of my own money into my Steam power. But if somebody did, let's say, if they bought 10,000 Steam power or something, don't they kind of have the right to use that however they want? I mean, I don't know. What's your
Yes.
opinion on that?
Yeah, so you're exactly right. They do have the right to do whatever they want. If they commit the capital, to be able to use
So,
it technically any way they want.
so if they go in and they self-vote, it's like, who is anybody else really to say that that's not allowed? But at the same time, I see their argument when there's the whole reward pool being drained and all that kind of stuff. They definitely do need to come up with some kind of a balance there, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.
Exactly. Let's see here. So, overall thoughts on Steemit, and you've been here since June, right? I'm looking at your profile here. Uh, you've been here since June. It looks like you've got a
Yeah.
little over 300 followers here so far. Do you interact with your followers a lot? Are they people that are actually commenting on your posts a lot, or?
On my podcast, and I make sure as a rule of thumb to reply to every single one.
I think
But
that's very smart, actually. Uh,
you just have to encourage interaction. That's how you um, create a buzz, quote unquote, around your blog.
Yep, absolutely. And we had mentioned before when we talked that, of course there are comment bots and there are spammers, or I don't really know how all that stuff works necessarily, but I know there are people just leaving generic comments that aren't even related to your post. Uh, do you typically respond to those, or do you just kind of overlook them?
I tend to overlook them. I remember I flagged a comment recently on a post that I made that was one of those generic spammy type comments. And it's just to keep my post tidy, like looking presentable. So when someone scrolls through the comments, because when I see a post and it's filled with comments, it kind of, in my eyes, it kind of reflects badly on the post. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but it just
Depending
affects the
on
way
what it
it's
is.
presented.
Yeah, depending on what
Yeah.
the comments are. If they're just a bunch of bot comments, um, you can usually tell right away. I mean, like if it's just a bunch of bot comments right away, and the thing's only had 5 views, but it's got a bunch of random comments, that they're not actual people and stuff. So, uh, I definitely agree with you about responding to the comments that you get from actual people who are trying to put in effort to talk to you and give you actual feedback on your posts. I think that's one thing people can learn out there if you're somebody new who's listening. I know from trying it myself, and I didn't do this a lot at first. I really didn't leave long comments. I mean, I think that's something else though that some people need to remember is that everybody was new once on this platform. So when you see somebody leaving a short comment, maybe take a look first to make sure they're not just a new user uh, who just could use a little coaching, as far as what the Steemit etiquette rules are, because they're kind of unwritten, right? I mean, there's all these unwritten Steam etiquettes, like about
Well,
like don't just leave a "hey nice picture" comment because you're probably going to get looked at as though you're just a spammer or somebody who didn't even read the post. But maybe it's just some person on the other end that, oh well, they didn't even realize that they were supposed to actually put some thought into their comment, kind of thing.
the length of the comment shouldn't matter that much. The focus should be on the quality of the comment because
Right.
you can have a short comment that is of high quality in relation to the post. So
Exactly. Yep. I agree.
it's very
And so let's see, where can we go here? So do you want to talk about any of your content that you've been posting recently or anything? Is there anything that you have that's pending, that isn't going to hit payout in the next, 24 hours or something that if you want anybody to maybe take a look at?
well. I actually posted recently quite a controversial, and it was about the Steam upvoting system, and I was just basically critiquing the Steam platform. So I mentioned
Oh yeah, I see
whales have a
that.
monopoly. Whales have a monopoly um, in terms of giving out rewards. So as a minnow, essentially getting a decent post payout just depends on if a whale or a dolphin happens to chance upon your blog and then upvotes them. And again, I touch on how hard it is to grow as a minnow on the platform. So
Yeah, so that would be a
yeah,
good post. And what's the name of that post so people can look for that?
so it's called My Thoughts. The Steam upvoting system is horribly broken.
Horribly broken. That's a
It's
good
quite strong
description.
words.
That's okay. And just again, we're talking to Bisadi. If you can't see the on the screen, it's Bisade is his username. So definitely take a look at some of his more recent content. And is there any other any other things you'd like to mention, or any other projects you might be working on, or any uh, parting tips for our young minnows out there who might be just hearing this stuff for the first time and could use a little advice, maybe?
Well, actually, in terms of advice to people starting out on the platform, I would definitely say that you should get involved with as many communities as you can because just talking to people, commenting on their posts, and developing a relationship is the best way to grow on this platform right now. It's good that you can write quality posts, but it's even better if you can interact with people and attract them to that post because we've all been there when we've spent hours on a post, but it hasn't gotten the returns that we wanted because we just don't have the followership or the clout essentially. So that's one piece of advice that I would give minnows starting out. And another piece of advice I would give you: your posts are readable. Because I see a lot of posts on Steam, and if there's quite a bit of, if there's a lot of spelling mistakes or grammatical errors, then it kind of, for me, it sets the post in a bad light, and I just stop reading the post because, yeah, I definitely acknowledge that people English is not may not be your first language, um, but you need to make sure that the quality of your post is as high as you can make it. So you have the Minnow Support Project. You can go to the spelling and grammar channel where people will help you with your posts and just try and push the quality to the next level.
Really? So actually, I'm not familiar with that yet. I'll be honest, I have not explored all of the great features of the Minnow Support project. And so you're saying they actually will check your post for you and for grammatical errors and everything?
Yeah, they'll check the spelling, the grammar, and I believe they check the content as well.
Oh, wow.
So if the content could be better, then they'll just flag it up, and then you can work on that.
That's very helpful. I did not know about that. So, again, new listeners out there, that's affiliated with what we're doing, Minnow support related things. Definitely take a look at that. And that's just one of the. Is that one of the channels on the PAL server on Discord?
It's called English spelling and grammar. That's what it's called.
And that's right on the Discord, right, on the PAL network. Is that on Discord?
Yeah, it's on Discord, the
Okay.
the, the server.
Okay. Cool. I know I personally don't use the Steemit.chat that much. Here's something I was going to ask you. Have you ever dabbled with the whole post promotion nonsense, like in the chat rooms? Have you done that
I've
before?
definitely been guilty of that. Especially when I started out,
I
I
mean,
did that quite a bit.
I still do it, and I don't know why I do it because I never get any feedback from it, and it's honestly just like a huge waste of time. I feel like. Maybe somebody out there when they listen to this and they can comment in the chat uh, that maybe they've had some success. I get the follow for follow people that want to, oh, I'll upvote you if you upvote me. You can get those in there. But typically, I haven't really gotten any kind of real positive feedback from any of the chat rooms that involve post promotion.
Because it's just spam. No
Right.
one is looking there to find. Just
Now,
want to.
see, there must be a better way for people to try to get their content out there without spamming it. You know what I'm saying? Like doing it like that. I wish there was an outlet or something that people could somehow share their stuff but not seem like they're just spamming it out there. And I don't know what the answer to that is. That's something that the Steemit platform needs to kind of come up with. Because, like you said, if you post something, an hour later, it's gone. It's so far down the feed, you'll probably never get another comment, maybe. Um, and posts sit there for 7 days before payout. So it's like maybe they could shorten the payout window or something and just have posts. It's up for 24 hours and it gets what it gets, and that's it. I don't know if that would make things better or worse. I'm not sure, but um, Is there any other things that you'd like to bring up? Any other kind of topics or anything?
Bot voting. I think that's also been something that people have been talking quite a bit about.
You
And
said bot voting.
oh, no, not bot voting, sorry, flagging.
Oh,
So
flagging.
I
Okay.
believe there was a flagging war. People get into flagging wars.
Yeah,
See why?
I've heard about that. So didn't something happen? I don't know who these users are. I don't follow it that closely, but I did hear about some bigger users who were pretty well known starting to get flagged. And so some of them actually were talking about, just getting off the platform because of it and stuff. And that's kind of a shame that just because they're successful and somebody doesn't like what they're doing, that they can just flag them and start a whole, flag war thing or whatever. But yeah, that whole system of down voting and all that stuff, I know that it's there to get rid of spam, of course, and plagiarism and content that shouldn't be there, but I don't know. That's a slippery slope, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. But you can see why it's needed because you need to get rid of
Yeah,
just the low quality stuff.
yeah, especially when
But
there
then
are
again,
rewards involved.
so it just needs to be like a mechanism that's overseen well for it to work
Right.
effectively.
It's almost too bad that as Steemit grows, I'm sure they'll add more and more and more things. Probably eventually it would be cool if like you could submit a post, but maybe it might take an hour for it to show up because it gets scrubbed behind the scenes for plagiarism, for things like that. If they had some kind of an AI or something that could actually scrub it for you before it posts, and then that would eliminate people doing that stuff. I don't know if that's even possible, but that would be kind of neat. And that way people couldn't just, blatantly copy stuff or whatever. But
Services after the fact. I think there's Steam cleaners and like cheater bots
oh yeah, that's true. I
that
always
will
I forget
like
about those
spot
guys.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, I always forget about those guys. Yeah. Thankfully, I only ever post like my own like photography and things like that. I don't even source images usually, so I don't I try to steer away from all that stuff. But, I do see other people that, can make good use of sourced images and things like that. So, um,
Mm,
as long as they're original, I'm all for original content on Steemit. I think that's what Steemit
yeah.
should be. It should just be original stuff. I mean, I guess I don't really have a problem with people posting blogs that maybe they've written, in the past on other sites and stuff, but I do like it a lot more when I see people making Steemit original content.
Hey, so what do you think of people that post YouTube videos that aren't theirs on there?
The only time I would even see that being okay um, is if it's relevant and if they get permission. I think that would be nice at least if they could. If it's like a music video. Honestly, I don't really see how that's ever going to be a useful thing in a Steemit post. I mean, you don't. But I guess if you're vlogging about music, then of course you might want that. But that is an interesting topic, and it's as from what I understand, it's not considered like plagiarism or anything, right? To use other people's YouTube videos.
No, but I think there's definitely some intellectual property
Yeah,
rights
I agree.
involved with that practice.
Absolutely. So,
So I think
uh,
permission is what you need.
yep. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of. I guess to me, blogging on a site like Steemit, you should just be using original stuff. I mean, we all can go to YouTube and look at that stuff. We all can go to Facebook and Twitter and all. We can see the regurgitated stuff over and over and over anywhere. That's not unique, but Steemit could be unique if it was original content, right?
The platform should be pushing.
Exactly. Let's see here. Do you take part in any kind of like contests on Steemit or anything like that? Have you taken part in much?
I've taken part in three contests and I've won all of them.
Really?
No,
Wow, that's cool.
four, and I lost, and I
What
lost one,
were they
and I lost
like?
one.
Were they content related posts or like what type of what have you seen so far?
The first one I entered was by Lexicon 81 or 82, and the contest was just to write a post about how Steemit uh, changed you as an individual for the better, and I won 20 SPD from that. And the next two that I won was to do with the minnow support weekly resteam. So you post. Well, I came second for one, but yeah, you know. So you comment a post on the minnow support post that they make, and then if you get, I believe if you get the most amount of upvotes or your post best displays the three values of the minnow support project, some money, SPD.
And do they still is that a contest that still runs, do you know, or was that just like a one-time thing?
No, it's a weekly thing. The minnow support project do it every week.
Oh, okay, that's really cool. Awesome. Yeah, I try to find the. I think things like that on Steam are really great. You know, the different contests, the different challenges, the different content related things. Like I know personally, I take part in a lot of the photography challenges. You know, the different color challenges. Some people don't like that stuff, and I'm sorry if you were. I'm sorry if you're one of those people. Yes, I am gonna post an orange picture on Tuesday. I'm sorry, and it's gonna happen. Today's when this interview plays, it's going to be Thursday, and I probably will post a tree, and I'll probably post something green. So get over it. Uh, but anyway, it's fun. It's fun, I think, because once those community things get created in the next hard fork, I think that type of stuff might maybe will navigate over there, and then that way, somebody who isn't into that stuff won't see it. But contests, I think, are really great. It gets people excited. It gets them, a little bit of steam power if they're winning some, SBDs or whatnot. And don't you agree that contests make the experience a lot better?
Well, it depends on the contest.
That's true, I
So
guess.
I don't have any. I can't. But there are some contests that honestly do not need to be contests, and you can clearly see that the aim is just to
I'm not a
for the
big
person that's
Yeah, I'm not a big
hosting the
fan
contest.
of contests that you have to, pay into. That might sound cheap, but like when they're like, oh, send me two SBDs and then you'll be entered in the contest. Well, no, I don't really want to do that. I'm not a big fan of that. But if it's just like, like something you can enter your entry and then maybe have a chance at something, I think that's fine. Yeah, like you said, I don't really agree with the ones that are just there to pump up the creator of the contest. I'm not really into that, but Steemit is interesting. It's there's so many levels of different stuff. It changed my life. I don't know about you, but just getting involved with it is just so interesting. Like even I'm talking to you. I'm talking to somebody in England right now. I never would have did this, 3 months ago, and that's to me that's amazing. I think that's great. So I know I'm very happy to be a part of the whole Steemit experience.
Yeah, definitely. Has made me more motivated. So we all want to be financially free, but Steam makes me feel like I can actually achieve that. So
Yeah, absolutely. And
yeah,
you're using your creative freedom too. The things that interest you, you can actually put some effort into it and maybe be rewarded, and that's really great.
yeah.
Okay, well, we're getting actually close to a 30-minute mark on this part two, so we could probably wind this down if you'd like. And are there any other parting words you'd like to give to our listeners out there that some of them might be minnows, they might be whales. Anything you'd like them to check out on your blog or to be watching for in the future?
Well, check out my blog if you want to, but I would like to depart some, part say a few words if I can, and just that's
Sure.
to encourage minnows and whales and dolphins alike to always strive to produce the best quality that you can, and also uplift quality that you see as well.
Well said. Absolutely. So that is Basadi, right? I'm saying that right?
Yeah, yeah, you are.
And it's at BISADE. If you aren't seeing that on the screen, check out his content, give him a follow. And once again, this is Main Event, and that's spelled MA, the number one, NEEVENT. Thank you for listening, and I really thank you for joining me on this interview today, Basadi.
Thanks for having me on.